Look, I've always liked Elon, and it's always very surprised. You saw the words he had for me, and he hasn't said anything about me that's bad. I'd rather have him criticize me than the bill, because the bill is incredible. It's the biggest cut in the history of our country. We've never cut. It's about 1.6 trillion in cuts. It's the biggest tax cut. You would say, people's taxes will go way down, but it's the biggest tax cut in history. It's we are doing things in that bill that are unbelievable. And when you look at what we're doing for small businesses, for people, for middle-income people, all of the things that we're doing, nobody's ever seen anything like it. And Elon's upset because we took the EV mandate, and which was a lot of money for electric vehicles, and they're having a hard time, the electric vehicles, and they want us to pay.
We have been waiting for months for the civil war to break out between Donald Trump and Elon Musk. And it finally has, but we never could have imagined that it would be this bad. Because after hours and hours of fighting tweets after tweets, firing back at each other, Donald Trump made his biggest threat yet threatening to take away all of Elon Musk's government contracts. And Elon responded with the most devastating bombshell of Donald Trump's entire presidency, invoking his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein in a shocking bombshell that MAGA is losing their minds over. We're going to get into it all. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way. And it really does mean a lot to me. Now, there's been a lot of fighting over the past few hours that explains how Elon Musk got to this point in the shocking tweet we're going to check out. So before we do, let's start with this video of Trump this morning that started it all.
Billions of dollars in subsidy. And, Elon knew this from the beginning. He knew it for a long time ago. That's been in there. I would say, JD, that hasn't changed. That's been right from the beginning. Mr. Secretary, that hasn't changed at all, right from the beginning. But I know that disturbed him. He wanted, and rightfully, he recommended somebody from that he, I guess, knew very well. I'm sure he respected him, but to run NASA. And I didn't think it was appropriate. And he happened to be a Democrat, like totally Democrat. And I say, look, we won. We get certain privileges, and one of the privileges, we don't have to appoint a Democrat. NASA is very important. We have great people. General Kane is going to be picking somebody with our. We'll be checking him out and seeing. But he wanted that person, a certain person, and we said no. And, I can understand why he's upset. Remember, he was here for a long time. You saw a man who was very happy when he stood behind the Oval desk. And even with the black eye, I said, do you want a little makeup? We'll get you a little makeup. But he said, no, I don't think so, which is interesting and very nice. He wants to be who he is, so you could make that statement too, I guess. Look, Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we will anymore. I was surprised because you were here. Everybody in this room practically was here as we had a wonderful send-off. He said wonderful things about me. You couldn't have nicer. Said the best things. He's worn the hat. Trump was right about everything. And I am right about the great, big, beautiful bill. We call it a great, big, beautiful bill because that's what it is. And again, biggest tax cuts in history, biggest economic development moves anywhere. We've never done anything like it. Business is spurred. And I don't know if you've seen the numbers, but the numbers came out. Even the CBO, which is run by Democrats, said that we're going to be doing, I'd like you to discuss it, the 2.8 trillion, that CBO. This is a group of people that are Democrats. They're very hostile to us. They just came out with phenomenal numbers, what it does. You want to mention that, Scott?
Yes, sir. So what we've seen is we keep hearing from the CBO that there's going to be a large deficit from the bill, which we disagree with, but using the CBO scoring, they came out and scored the tariff revenue. We think it'll be the minimum of $2.8 trillion over the 10-year window, which actually puts the bill in surplus if you include the tariff revenue, which they won't do.
It gives you a tremendous surplus, but we're not allowed to use that. For some reason, they say scoring. Nobody knows what scoring means. Maybe a couple of people, but nobody. somebody sits in the background, they say, well, we're not going to allow that. They're not allowing other things that we have that are tremendously profitable for our country. But if you saw the other day, CNBC, they came out with numbers, and the people on the show, very good people, I've watched them for a long time, they couldn't believe the numbers, how good they are. The numbers were incredible, and that was personal income and also very low inflation. We have very low inflation. We're down to 2%.
So Donald Trump started this morning, as we would expect, attacking Elon Musk for calling out all the failures in his big, beautiful bill that Elon has been doing for days now. But the rhetoric continues to pick up, and it led Donald Trump to post these two Truth Social posts that the official White House account has now reposted themselves, and it is leading to a complete freakout out of Musk camp. Trump wrote, "Elon was wearing thin. I asked him to leave. I took away his EV mandate that forced everyone to buy electric cars that no one else wanted, that he knew for months I was going to do." And he just went crazy. Trump then posted, "The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's government subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it." So after that shocking move, Donald Trump threatening to take away the entire reason that Elon got into government, those government subsidies, billions of dollars that he has been stealing from us, Elon decided to bring out the big guns, hit Donald Trump where it hurts most. Not just with the whole country, but with his MAGA crowd, which is quickly turning on him, and that is the Epstein files, tweeting this. Elon Musk wrote, "Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald Trump." I am shocked, and there is a million things I could say if I hadn't just got my wisdom teeth out a few days ago. The reason why I was a bit slow to make this video, and I appreciate you understanding why I'm not speaking as well as I should be, but this is absolute insanity. The Civil War is exploding. I wouldn't be surprised if at this point Donald Trump might threaten to deport Elon. This is crazier than anything we ever could have imagined. This is like MAGA tearing itself apart. Elon is threatening to start a new political party, saying Donald Trump will be out of office soon, but he's going to be around forever. This is going to be one of the most shocking and really destructive political civil wars we have ever seen. And I cannot wait for these two to tear themselves apart. This is a match made in hell. We're going to enjoy it so much more, especially when I can speak without so much pain. But there is also very important news to cover in this bill. Not just the fighting between Trump and Elon, and Jasmine Crockett broke all that down in a video I want to check out right here.
I think it's important that what we're seeing is that the internal civil war, the family fight, is coming out into the public, right? You know, Bobby was still very nice about everything that he had to say, and felt like it was okay to disagree. And a lot of times we sit there and are like, hello, are y'all paying attention? Because like this is impacting y'all too. Like say something, right? And so now that there's like the family infighting, we see, you know, even Elon Musk, honey, he can't get out of the Twitter, right? Like he is talking about the bill and trying to take the bill and telling people, call your senators and make sure you take this bill down. And listen, I never thought there would be a day that I would agree with Elon on anything, but that's where we are, where people are finally starting to say, you know what, this is actually impacting me a little too much. I'm gonna have to speak up and speak out against this. But my issue is this: all of y'all voted for this so that it would hurt somebody else. The problem was you got upset when you found out that, oh shoot, it can hurt me too. And honestly, it's ingrained in who Democrats are, is that we actually care and we love and we want to take care of everybody. And that's why we got this big tent party and we all over the place. But I will tell you that compassion is something that we are missing in Congress.
Yes.
Like caring is something that we are missing in politics in general. And that's the only way you can justify a senator going out there and saying, well, everybody gonna die. And then decide that you're going to do your apology, not so much an apology, in what looked like a graveyard. Right. I'm like, listen, ain't nobody elect you to be anybody's grave digger. They elected you to do everything that you can to make sure that their lives were flourishing and getting better and that they were living as long as they could.
That's part of the job. Part of the job is also in your current position, watching what this administration is doing and making sure that they are accountable. You recently threw your hat in the ring to be ranking member on the House Oversight Committee, saying in your Dear Colleague letter, Americans are demanding a more strategic, aggressive, and energetic fight. What do you think that fight should look like?
I think
particularly.
No, I think it looks like a lot of things. Listen, here's the deal. We as Democrats can sit there and say, oh, you know what? He violating the Emoluments Clause of the Constitution. And the average person's like, say what now? What are you talking about, right? So, number one, I think that we have to deal with that and explain to people why it is so bad, because he will go out there and say, yo, me getting a free plane from the Qataris, like that just means that, you know what, we don't have to spend this money on a plane, right? Like he can explain it to people that don't understand why we have these rules and why the Constitution was looking out for us. So it's a matter of bringing that in, having a hearing, and then making sure that we translate it and we amplify it. It's not big enough just to go on TV. Love y'all, appreciate y'all. But like communications has to be a full on kind of strategy. And that is something that I've worked really hard to do because I want to make sure that I'm not just screaming into a vacuum. I also want to make sure that we're amplifying the voices. We've got so much amazing talent that's on that committee, but we need a leader that literally can lift up the entire team so that people say, you know what, we actually starting to believe in the Democrats. There's more than just one or two of them that are fighting. But also I think that we just got to be real and we got to go hard, right? Like there's only one person Donald Trump does not want in that seat. It is me, like point blank period. And same thing with a Republican colleague out of North Carolina that was like, I'm fearful because I'm not going to hold back. Now, listen, this doesn't mean that I plan to be partisan in any way, but as a trained trial attorney, we're going to follow these facts. We're going to follow the evidence and we are going to make it plain. I also think that we can't just say, well, we're in the minority, so we can't do anything. I don't believe in that rhetoric. I believe in fighting. And that's exactly what I've been doing. So like, does this mean that we take the fight to their backyard? Absolutely. Because those people may not be tuning in. So allowing me to go and do shadow hearings on the road where I'm going into Republican districts and the people that are testifying are the people that have been impacted, whether they lost their jobs or whether they lost funding for Meals on Wheels or whatever it is, to tell their story so that their neighbors can hear them. And then they will know that we are listening and we are not here just because it's election time. We are here because we actually want to heal this country.
In the time that we have left, to follow up on this, the last time this seat was open and there was a race within the Democratic caucus for this particular seat, former leadership weighed in and members weighed in to say that we don't want that person, we want this person. Do you have a sense now that that leadership maybe is going to take a different tact? Or former leadership might also take a different tact.
Listen, you trying to beat around the bush. Everybody at home know what you're talking about.
Nancy Pelosi weighed in, and she said, not that person, I want this person. Do you think she's going to weigh in this time? If so, is she weighing in for you?
I don't think she's going to weigh in at all. There is someone from California that is running. So if she does weigh in, I would imagine it may end up being a delegation person. But as a woman who became speaker, I think that there is something powerful. I am the only woman that is in this race. Not to say that that is like an end all be all, but I think that she understands the challenges of what it is to rise through the ranks, even beyond kind of you having the qualifications and you being able to show the bona fides. You know, there's numbers that I mentioned in my letter for a reason. Like, you talk about your numbers because they're strong, right? Like, it's not really normal for a freshman to raise over $4 million for DCCC. It's not really normal for a sophomore black woman in a safe Democratic seat to raise $1.7 million and become the seventh highest fundraising Democrat in Q1. Like, these are not, you know, or for a sophomore to have traveled to done over 100 events on behalf of other people. So what I'm trying to do is let everybody know that I'm a team player. And that's exactly what I hope, comes across. I don't anticipate, though, that the former speaker is weighing in. I've been talking to people while my letter just went out. I have been talking to people, and I did not get a sense that the former speaker had weighed in. I will tell you, though, that seniority is a thing that, Alex mentioned when she said she wasn't going to run again. I think, it's hard for certain people who have come up through this system to then say, you know what, I'm going to let it go. And it's been important for me to tell people that, listen, if we just had a halfway normal person in the White House, I wouldn't be running, because I really do respect seniority, especially because of the history of it, especially for like the Black caucus. But at the same time, if we don't meet this moment, I think that we're going to continue to see our numbers plummet. I think we're going to continue to lose a lot of our support. And I think that when we talk about diversity, as much as we do on our side of the aisle, that even means in our leadership. And so diversity comes from all different ways. And so we've done a lot of seniority kind of votes. I'm hoping that we can break the norm, at least in this particular race, and give someone a shot who really just wants to.
Of course, we will be giving as much non-stop coverage to the Elon-Trump civil war as much as I can take. I am in a bit of pain. I hope you can understand why I'm not speaking so well after just having my wisdom teeth out. But if you want to support that on this show, as always, I'm going to be speaking better soon, so you should hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments, because I certainly need it. And until next time, I'll see you soon.